This is a great day, a crazy day with so much going on. Obviously, National Signing Day and big signing day party over there, and then team meeting at noon, and we're honoring a bunch of graduates today. So a lot of our players and some of our support personnel from our managers, trainers, video are graduating tomorrow. So we have a luncheon that's going on upstairs. So just had the opportunity to put the stoles on all of our players, and that's always a neat experience to be able to do that with our guys. But this is one of those days that each and every year I think your program is measured by, and definitely feel like we got better for sure. And for me, it's always exciting when a guy chooses to come to Clemson, because these guys all have many opportunities, and when they choose to come and be a part of it, it's always special. I appreciate all of them. I appreciate their parents for believing in us, believing in me, believing in our coaches, our vision for our program, and so just really thankful to the young men that have chosen. This is, I think our ninth top 15 class in a row, for whatever that means. But I do know this: we've become very consistent, and on the field, off the field. You go upstairs at the graduation thing going on right now, and it just never ends. You've got guys going out the door, you got guys coming in the door, and I love that whole transformation process that takes place from that high school kid that walks in to that grown man graduate who's getting ready to go out into the next phase of his life. So it's really special, but we've been very consistent, and I don't have any doubt that this group will be special. I mean, this is the biggest class that we've signed, I believe, since my 2011 class. I think we signed 29 that year, and you go back to that class, that was the Grady Jarrett, the Stephon Anthony, that whole group, and you think about what they accomplished in 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 for our fifth-year seniors, like a B.J. Goodson, for example. It's amazing what that class went on to do, and that's really kind of how I measure those guys, for sure. I believe Adam Humphries was in that class, and he was one of those guys on signing day. Everybody's looking, well, why are y'all signing that guy? And I think Adam Humphries turned out pretty good and is making a pretty good living playing pro football. And vice versa. Sammy Watkins, pretty good guy to sign too, and that was as advertised. So all across the board, it's just neat for me to kind of, because I think time tells ultimately how you did. I don't think present day rankings really matter that much, because that's on potential. I think the rest of it's based on performance. We've never signed the #1 ranked recruiting class since I've been the head coach in 10 years, but yet we're I think maybe second or third in wins over the last 10 years. So I think that speaks to the evaluation and the development that we have in place here in our program. But I think this group will turn out to be special, and can't wait to see what they do over the next 4 or 5 years. Just like that last big class that we signed back in 11. We're graduating the winningest senior class in ACC history. And, if they can find a way to win 2 more, that'd be the winningest class in college football history. So obviously we've got some very talented individuals that are leaving, and it's critical that we bring in a great group to replace them. And I think that we've done that. We signed 26 today, 16 mid-years. And most of these guys have been committed for a long time, whether it be back in the spring, summer, or even early part of August. Most of this class has been together for a long time, and we definitely met all of our critical needs for sure, and then some in some areas. And we'll get back together in February, and we'll see what happens and shakes out between now and then. I have no idea. Sometimes juniors decide to leave early. Sometimes maybe a guy decides to graduate and move on. Who knows? Whatever. But we'll also have some preferred walk-ons that'll sign up with us in February and into the summer. So we're not done with this class from a totality standpoint, but we'll see how it all finishes up. But to this point, an unbelievable group. We've got a talented team returning in the spring. We got a really talented team coming back. It's going to be a lot of fun to coach. So the 16 mid-years is huge for us because we have all these guys that are obviously moving on. So just from a functionality of practice, to be able to have 16 new guys out there that are getting a head start as opposed to having to wait for the whole class to get here in the summer, I think that really is going to pay huge dividends and allow us to continue to have the competitive depth that we need to keep moving our program forward. So I'm excited about that part of it. We have 14 states represented in this class. I think that is just amazing reflection of the strength of our brand. And, you know, all these kids that 10 years ago were 8 have grown up as 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, watching Clemson and watching the success of our program on and off the field. And they want to come see. They want to come be a part of it. And we all know that when a guy comes to Clemson, they realize this is a special place. And so it's been really neat for me to travel around to so many different places and kind of validate and see firsthand why they chose us. Because when I go and I see their environment and their type of families, it's very easy for me to see and get, you know, exactly why they chose Clemson and why they felt like we were a good fit for them. Our staff always does an amazing job. And I tell you, from Streeter to Sorrells to Thad to Ty Clements, Morgan Tadlock, they just doing a great job. The recruiting never stops. I mean, it is a non-stop thing. Everything in college football is about personnel, you know, whether it be your staff or the players that you're bringing in, the players that are on your team, the development of them, you name it. And our staff works tirelessly all the time, as does our families, because our families are a huge part of the recruiting process, for sure. So just appreciate everybody's hard work. You know, when you have guys come on this campus, it's a all hands on deck mentality, whether it be from our academics, our strength conditioning, our nutrition, the chefs, obviously the football coaches, all the support. I mean, it is President Clements, Dan Radakovich, Graham. I mean, everybody is involved in the recruiting process. So it takes a lot of work, and I just appreciate all the efforts by so many. So fun day. We got a bunch of guys graduating tomorrow. Some of them graduating again tomorrow, like Christian Wilkins, Justin Falcinelli. How about him? He's finishing up his MBA, walking out of here with an undergrad and an MBA. And you know, he was a guy that we signed originally as a gray shirt. You know, he's just a kid I liked that I'm like, you know what, this guy's got something to him. And he came in here, and now here's Fauci walking away with an MBA. He's been on 4 ACC championship teams. He's been a multi-year starter for us and a daggum good football player. And I have a chance to play some more football if he wants to. So just really proud of those guys for getting it done and finishing up their graduation today. So when this is over for me, somebody's calling me. That's Danny Poole. We'll call him back. But when this is over, for me, it's getting back to work on the Cotton Bowl. And, you know, we're excited about practice today. This is kind of the final part of our bowl prep, if you will, but a great opportunity for us today to really polish and hone in on our plan. And give the guys off tomorrow. We got guys graduating tomorrow, but give the guys off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we'll get back together at 11:30 Sunday morning. We'll practice here and then load up and head to Dallas. So looking forward to that. Any questions?
Coach Tyson seems to be the type of quarterback that fits your offense really well. What makes him such a good fit both on and off the field for you?
Well, first of all, who he is as a person. You know, I always say we recruit people first, and man, he's just an amazing young man, special great family. I mean, just awesome, awesome people. Sam and his mom, Jasmine. I mean, these are salt of the earth folks. He's got great size. He has tremendous athleticism, and I think he's still got it all in front of him. He's at a smaller school. It's a very unbelievable environment he's coming from. He's been at this boarding school since the 9th grade, a lot like Christian Wilkins. You know, Christian Wilkins is at Suffield Academy. He's at Avon Olds Farm. You probably know where that is, Tim. But I'd never been there, but it was one of the most fascinating places I've been to. It was built in 1927. I think some lady had all the land and maybe built it to honor her dad or husband or something. But it looks like Harry Potter world. I mean, that's where I thought I was. I'm like going through the woods going, where am I going and where are the hobbits? You know, they're going to hop out at any point. And all the roofs are like, you know, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, you know, and the slate on the roofs came from England. I mean, you couldn't build something like that anymore. I mean, it's crazy. With the little mess hall where you go eat, it's the original tables from 1927. It was a fascinating place. But everybody I met there, I'd say, well, how long have you been here? Oh, I've been here 30 years. I've been here 25 years. Oh, I've been here 18 years. I've been here 20 years, which tells you really all you need to know, that it's a pretty special place. And that's the culture that he's coming from. And it also tells you the type of maturity. A lot like Christian, his transition will be very easy for him. He's been living in a closet for 4 years. I mean, literally a closet. You like pull a sheet back, and here's your bed, and there's your desk, and that's where you live. Coat and tie every day. So just a really, you know, unique. So it's really neat for me to be able to go and kind of see where he's coming from. And but very talented. Very talented, got I think a bright future and got a bright mind for the game. So we're excited to add him in as a mid-year as well. So he'll be one of those guys that obviously we don't have many quarterbacks right now. So getting another guy like him in the fold is huge.
Dabo, if your receivers already look pretty good walking off the bus, what's it going to look like?
Yeah, it's going. If it was a